They say never. I say never tell me what to do. A person will never put you in a position above them. That's never a lie, always true. Success never comes without risk, and risk never comes without fear. YouTube is a smoke and mirror, never how it appear.
Hey, what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Icewater 815. I gotta shoot another factoring video for a couple reasons. One, I get a lot of questions about different factoring companies, like, should a person use this company? Should a person use that company? And then I get questions every now and then about what do I think about factoring. And I usually try and stay away from this topic because factoring is something that I feel like the individual got to determine what's best for them. And I don't know everybody's situation. But I wanted to shoot this video right here to touch on how I really feel about factoring. And I guess this is like the inside the mind of Icewater. Maybe that's what we can call it. I don't know. If I was a new company, or if I had to do it again and would start my authority all over again, I would factor every load. I would get set up with a factoring company. I would get set up with a recourse factoring company so I could get the cheapest rate. And I would factor every load. I don't care who it was.
All right, as I was editing this video, I realized that I gotta pretty much add some stuff to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like factoring, when I'm talking about the company, I gotta give y'all some things that I would look for in a company. One of the things I would look for is a company that doesn't have a contract. And when I say doesn't have a contract, I mean 30 days after I factor my last load, I can leave and it's no fee to leave or no strings attached or none of that stuff. That's going to be important in order for this factoring scenario to work out the way that I'm going to talk about it in this video. Another thing that's going to be important is the ability to email the bills. If the factoring company saying that they require the originals, then I'm probably going to look somewhere else. Another thing that I would pay attention to is see what time the cutoff time for submission is, you know, and especially see where they at. If they on the East Coast and you in the Midwest, well, you know, you gotta count that little hour difference. You know what I mean? Like, so they 2 p.m. is 1 p.m. for you. You know what I'm saying? Or they 1 p.m. is 12 p.m. for you. Another thing I would try to check out and see is if they got any fee for ACH deposit. For some reason, like if a company got a fee for the ACH deposit, I don't like that for some reason because it don't cost them no money to send you some money. So I don't like that. I already said go with a recourse factoring plan. And the reason that I'm saying go with recourse is most factoring companies they have you only use approved brokers. So if the factoring company willing to take a chance on a broker, 9 times out of 10, it's a good broker. So I wouldn't even worry about non-recourse. I would strictly go recourse and I would just take my chances. Again, try to stay between 1.5 to 2.5%. And another thing to look for in a factoring company is, are they funding the same day or next day? And then I would make sure they didn't have no reserve holdings. I mean, I want all my money when you pay it. I don't want you to pay me up to a certain percent, then hold a percent. Then another thing that I'm going to really pay attention to is like, do they got any minimum volume? I don't want to have no minimum value, or I don't want to have no minimum amount that I got to factor. So those are some things that I would look for when I'm selecting a factoring company. All right, we're going to get back to the video.
And I would do that for a year. And listen to why I would do that. First of all, assuming that, let me back up because I forgot about this one point. I will open up a business banking account at a credit union. I wouldn't mess with the big name banks and stuff like that. credit unions just treat you a little better for some reason. Credit unions more for the people than the big banks, period. With that being said, I would get signed up with a factoring company. I wouldn't pay no more between 2 to 3%. No, recourse, I'm looking at 1.5 to 2.5% on my factoring fee. And I would get set up with a company that I could do that. Oh, that's why. All right, well, that ain't gonna work. Yeah, I would get set up with a company 1.5 to 2.5% recourse factoring. First year I factor everybody. I don't care if the broker had a quick pay that was cheaper than my factoring company. Basically what I want to do is establish cash flow at that credit union. I would factor everybody for a year. Once that year was up, I would make sure that I got out my contract with the factoring company. Well, first, before I got out my contract with the factoring company, what I would do is I would go to that credit union and I would get a line of credit for, depending on how many trucks I had, maybe like $20,000 line of credit. That out of $20,000, $30,000, whatever the case may be. I would get a line of credit, and then I would no longer use my factoring company. I would wait the 30 to 45 days for my payment. That way I would be getting all my money. Now that's what I would do if I had to do it all over again. Unfortunately, I didn't take those steps and do it that way because I didn't have this video on YouTube to tell me to do it that way. But that's what I think you should do. Factor everything your first year, then go back to the credit union, get you a line of credit, and then use your line of credit for your fuel and your expenses while you wait on your money to come in. That's me. So factoring, that's the dirty little secret to factoring that I guess, well, my dirty little secret. So that's my take on factoring, man. This is your boy Icewater 815, man. Remember, it don't matter what type of truck you drive, as long as it'll deliver a load. But you ain't gonna make no money in trucking if you can't keep that left door closed. Hey, I'll see you next video, YouTube. Y'all be safe.
Been through a lot of pain in my life, and I pray the Lord take it all away.